We're live?
We are live.
Ah,
Welcome, gentlemen, to the playoff edition of the podcast. We have
playoffs.
CT and Bryson this week. It's great to have both guys with us, and congrats on making the playoffs. I think we can all say that to each other. Feels good. Feels good. Better luck next year, Jack. Sorry. I was that team last year. I was out by 2 points. I was the 7th seed finished 7th, and
If
it's
only
tough.
Kyler would have been started by Nels, it could have been different for
Yeah,
Jack.
it
Could have
would have
gone
made
differently.
a huge difference. With that, do you just want to go straight into
Yeah.
some season stats, Bryson, stat guy?
I'll start with power index. And as we all know, Kyler Murray died for Paradox, or maybe he didn't. There was actually another injury in that game. And RO actually had Ramondre Stevenson. And when I look back at the data, as I share this, um, he missed his projections by 10 points based on what I had put in for those PI projections. And that was enough to put CT ever so slightly over Paradox for all-time power index in a regular season. So congratulations, CT. I didn't want to ruin the surprise ahead of time, but you have surpassed Paradox for the highest single season power index of all time. Uh,
Yes.
All right. What's your speech? What do you want to say to your guys?
I'd like to thank the Academy for voting me in. I'd like to thank the Jack statistician over here for keeping all these stats that everyone cares so much about. And I'd like to thank my team for just and well, really, I need to thank Nels for trading me Derrick Henry.
Oh,
So that's
and Ramondre Stevenson for getting hurt in the last Monday night
And
game.
yeah, I watched that game and I was real sad that DeAndre Hopkins didn't get more and that he fumbled. Thought he fumbled away my chance, and um, so
Just
yeah,
enough. It's
thank you,
a
Ted.
it's a rounding amount, CT. It says 227, but you're a couple tenths ahead.
Hey, that rounds me down and that rounds him up, so I'll take it.
I mean, I think the other piece is Wes's performance put him in top four all time at 194, so he got a nice little bump. So the two of
Jeez,
you had really strong years, which actually brings me to a new metric that I want to introduce because Wes's score being in the top four, I was like, man, paired with his record this year, that might be one of the most impressive finishes to a regular season we've ever seen. And Power Index obviously takes into account total points, which is probably a better predictor of actual skill, but we play head to head. So I created a GOAT metric for single season performances, and I'm going to reveal that today and take into account right now it's based on regular season 2022. So Wes is getting credit for a first place victory, but if he were to win this year, he would be on pace for having the second GOAT PI. So I'll try to explain what this looks at. So basically our criteria for overall GOAT is 15% your finish, power index is 40%, win percentage is another 20%, and then if you win the championship, you get another little bonus. So I'm not showing championship here because it's pretty easy to see with the finish, but that same multiplier basically goes into what is a GOAT PI. So you can see based on our championship multiplier, the first place teams rise to the top. But you could argue that Wes has a chance to finish off with a better season than CT's team this year. So I know you just defeated Paradox, and I'm throwing a new metric out there to kind of say, hey, maybe it's not the greatest team of all time, even though by these metrics, your 2019 team would be, because not only did it have a 224 PI, but it also finished first versus Paradox, I believe, becomes the top rated number two team of all time as with its second place finish. So just another metric to look at. Don't know what you guys, if you have any thoughts on it or if one's better than the other, but I know we've looked at kind of just standard PI, but this looks at it kind of taking into account postseason success as well. I know Nels will be a fan.
yeah,
yeah,
he's got
I'll
two teams in the top 10 then.
Well, Nelson's all about championships, and I do think that's fair when you're looking at kind of a total season look. So this takes that into account. What is interesting is like there's some first place teams that do fall below some regular season not winners, like Paradox, like Nelson's 2020. He had an average team with a power index of only 5, was barely over 500, but he won the championship, so it's still a top 20 team, which I think is arguably fair when you're looking at kind of a holistic view of a an individual season's ranking all time. So just another stat. Thought I'd throw it out there for conversation. Throw some shade in the group chat if you guys agree with it or don't. But wanted to give CT his moment in the spotlight and then throw it under the bus. Although, like I said, 2019 is still the top one. So either way, congrats, CT.
Thank you. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to throw up, I did a new view, and this is just looking at regular season PI by manager year over year. So I'm just saying this in case anybody wants to pause the podcast and just kind of see where they're trending. For example, like CT, your last 4 years here are just fucking incredible. 224, 187, 98, 228 versus, that's consistency versus Wes went from a negative 169, negative 45 to 192 in 3 years. Pretty darn impressive. And then you look at the WOT and just he's had one year where he's been okay, never had a positive PI. So again, not going to get into all these, but it's just a nice kind of view to look at your regular season kind of performance year over year in a quick little chart. So thought I'd throw that out there. And then lastly, just some overall season stats, just in case people want to pause and look where they're at. We got the total records. I think we covered last week, I joined the 100 win club. It looks like next year we'll have RO, Nelson, Scales likely to join that club. Maybe an outside chance for CB. Jerry could
wins.
or not CB. Who is it? Yeah, it could be CB could make the 100 loss and 100 win club in the same year, technically next year.
I mean,
one way or the other.
You play 14 games. I mean, you'd have to do West style and go 13-1.
It's possible. That's what I'm saying. He could make 100 wins. He also more than likely could make 100 losses as he loses 7-8 games. So there you go. Nels did break 1,800, as did I. There's a couple other people knocking on the door. Shmi and CT remain the only people with 100 points per week in the league. And then lastly, not least, certainly, I updated the GOAT metrics based on current standing. So Wes gets credit for a win. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to win the season. But with win percentage updated and everything else, actually, Wes, I didn't update your championship. That's the only, you're getting credit for an average finish, but I didn't update it in championship. And actually, make sure this is updated correctly. So we go to, this is actually correct now. Wes, I didn't update your championship, but your average finish is based on regular season. Not a ton change. CT is still obviously the GOAT. The tiers pretty much remain the same, but if you want to pause and digest it, here's your updated GOAT standings. So I try to do that quickly. Spent a lot of time in Excel today. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
It's beautiful, Bryson.
All right, on to the matchups.
All right, on to the matchups. Let me share my screen here. Oh, all right. Let's see. All right, which matchup do we want to take on first? Third v6.
Sure.
Is that me and Jerry, or is that the other?
No,
one?
that's the other one.
It's CB versus who?
Shmi.
Mm-hmm. Man, CB's 8-7 all time versus Shmi, and they have never faced each other in the consolation nor the postseason bracket at all regular season matchups.
Oh wow.
Break it down, CT.
All right, well, let's see. It really comes down to Josh Allen and Tyreek Hill playing against each other in what I thought was supposed to be a snowy game up in Buffalo, but I don't see any weather called for here. We'll see. The weather could impact that, though. Eckler's got a real tough matchup against Tennessee. I think they've been the best defense against running backs this season. Oops, didn't mean to click on that.
Best run defense for sure.
Yeah. So, but he's got Pacheco in a smash spot against Houston. Over on the other side, CB's got Burrow in a good high scoring potential matchup against Tampa Bay. And also Evans in that same matchup. Olave could have a big week against Atlanta. And then Aaron Jones is, if he's questionable, let's see. He was limited for practice. But he could be in for a big week against a Rams team that's reeling, although they've got some Baker magic going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah. So
Is Higgins gonna play? He really looks like he messed up his finger in like the first
that's
play.
he
Oh,
remains
his hamstring?
limited.
Maybe I'm thinking of Boyd. Oh yeah, as did Tyler Boyd finger. I got him mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Boyd. You're right. I thought the same thing when you started saying it, but yeah, it was Boyd.
Yeah, this is one of those things where hamstring injuries are tricky. He could, he only played one snap against last week, and he could go in and play one snap and snap his hamstring again and be out. So injuries to watch there for CB, whereas Shmi is healthy right now. I just the big unknown here to me is what's the weather going to be like for this Buffalo Miami game.
I'll look it up, but keep
I
going,
had last
Bryson.
heard a snowstorm. That's what I heard.
That's what I heard too. So and I like if there's a snowstorm that Allen and Hill are playing in.
It's at Buffalo, right?
It's at
Yeah.
Buffalo on Saturday.
Saturday, temps nearly steady in the low to mid 30s, winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, chance of snow 60%, 1 to 3 inches of snow expected. Is that a
Not
night game?
great.
It is a night game.
Mostly cloudy with snow showers during the evening, chance of snow 50%, accumulations less than an inch.
Okay, so it'll just be cold.
Yeah,
Maybe
it'll be
some
cold.
snow.
Miami will not be used to that, and I feel like Tyreek and Tua may not have a good game against that Buffalo defense that absolutely murdered Mike White. So that was an abomination of the offensive line of Mike White. I couldn't
That might have been
believe.
the hardest legal hit I've seen
Yeah,
all year.
like
Like how he went to the hospital after the game, but how he's going to play this week, I have no idea.
Kittle. Didn't you have Kittle last year, Bryson?
I
He just
did. He
scored
just
again.
scored a time. I know. I was like, does anybody have him? No.
No, Mays does.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. He's the woke.
Yeah. Well, part of me wants to pick CB here, but I'm,
Ooh.
because I was thinking about, that a potential snowstorm in Buffalo, but if the weather's going to be a little clearer and it's just going to be cold, and, if they're playing in the mid 30s, I don't, I'm tempted to lean towards Shmi, but I want to hear what you guys have to say before I reveal my pick.
I'll go. Is CT, probably as well as anyone with KC, is Pacheco the guy I heard on a podcast? It's kind of when push I almost said something weird.
Pussy
When
comes to
push
shove.
comes to shove, they kind of go with McKinnon just because if they're down, they're going to be throwing. So McKinnon's in quite a bit, but with Houston, I guess they could be up, but they really seem to be splitting times. And then CEH I don't even know if he's hurt or just completely out of the picture, but it's not a bad flex play and a good matchup, but I don't think Pacheco's like the guy. I think it's 50-50.
I will say Pacheco has like 5 games in a row with 15 plus touches.
Yeah.
That's good.
And 80 yards from scrimmage. So you've got what I would think is a pretty good floor for Pacheco, especially against a Houston defense that's given up 120 plus yard rusher in 12 of 13 games.
I mean, I think the question on that will be if Kansas City shows up ready to play, unlike the Cowboys,
Yeah.
does the game get out of hand? And honestly, I could see it going either way. If the game script goes bad, like, do they try to get Pacheco work just given he's a rookie, or do they kind of just shy away and go to the RB3 which I don't know who's after McKinnon and Pacheco these days, but it'll just be interesting. Obviously, it's a huge matchup with Houston. You never know what that score could be against a team like Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, we could go more in depth, with this matchup. I think I think it's going to be pretty close, and I'm going to go Shmi just with Josh Allen at home. I feel like he tends to do really well at home. I don't know if there's any stats to back that up. I can look it up, but I'm going to go Shmi just because I really don't know what Higgins is going to do as his flex. I can't really trust Aaron Jones or Singletary anymore, and I like Shmi's. Eckler, Harris, and Pacheco are going to get, their touches. Those other guys, they just haven't really been that involved in the overall game because Green Bay likes to throw a lot, and so does Buffalo. So,
Yep.
and then Burrow at Tampa Bay. I know Tampa Bay hasn't been that great this year passing, but it's still a tough place to play. And their defensive matchups, Dallas kind of has a tougher matchup, but I'm going to go Shmi and to take out CB. CB only had 45 points last week. He can only go up from there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Shmi's team. He had a pretty good last week, and he's got some solid running backs compared to CB. I don't really like Slayton, but I'll take Olave over Slayton, but I think that's Shmi's only weakness.
I agree, Jerry. I've only got the Slayton spot as his potential weakness. I mean, just altogether, Shmi's team, I think, is better than CB's. I think CB and I both have pretty weak teams to make the playoffs. Josh Allen hasn't looked the same, but even when he's off, his floor is so high just because he'll get 40 rushing yards, a TD here and there, that it's just hard to imagine him not getting around 20 points. Eckler obviously is great. Tyreek Hill, Tua's been in a funk as well, but that weather could be a factor. But overall, I just think Shmi's got too much of a good team to lose this matchup. I got Shmi.
Yeah, isn't this Miami's third game on the road? That sucks. They've played. I know
so.
they've played 2 in a row in California, and now they're going to Buffalo. Man, that's a tough part of the schedule. But CB or CT, what's your official pick?
Yeah, my pick is conditional on the weather in Buffalo, but assuming all is well, I'm going to go with Shmi as well. I think Allen and Eckler and Hill are just too much for CB to overcome. But if the
Yeah.
if the weather does impact that game, I can see CB pulling off an upset.
Yeah,
Very nice.
we're all
Good
aligned.
luck.
All right, to the next one. It's Jerry and me. Jerry, I am 12-6 against you all time. We had a really nice matchup in week 8 where I beat you by 1 point, 131 to 130. We've only faced once ever in the playoffs, and you beat me for third place in 2018, 120 to 116. So
That's my last time on the podium was that
there you
matchup.
go.
All right, break it down, CT. I'll give my biased opinion in a second.
All right, well, we'll start with your
I
team.
hope real quick oh wow, Gino just threw a pick.
Yes, he did.
There's a flag
There's
though.
a flag. It's on them. I think. What?
Anyway,
Right.
It was on
hopefully-
Bosa, late hit.
hopefully Bryson and I don't just RJ each other and we take this seriously.
I will take it seriously. It may come off as a reverse jinx, but I'm going to take it seriously.
We're gonna do
All
the
right.
same thing.
Let's talk about your team first there, Jerry. So you've got Hurts in a great matchup against Chicago. Cooper's got a great matchup against Baltimore. And then Godwin's in a decent matchup against Cincy. The Chubb and Mixon both have real tough matchups. Baltimore's got a good run defense. Tampa Bay's got a good run defense. And then DJ Moore, he no-showed last week, even though they scored like 30 points. I think.
Yeah, it was pretty horrendous. Apparently he tweaked something and only got 3 targets, no catches, and a 30-point game. It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll have a debate between him and Pickens and who to start at that flex spot there. So overall, I think you've got Hurts as kind of your shining star, but I don't otherwise like your matchups. Over on Bryson's side, Dak's got Jacksonville. I think that's a good matchup. Diggs, again, that could be impacted by the weather. Metcalf is going right now, and he can't quit, pass interfering.
I love offensive PI.
I know. And then you've got, Dobbins going against Cleveland. They're not a good run defense. But I don't know that Dobbins, like he pulled up last week on a
Yeah.
run. So I don't know. Like they say he's healthy, but I don't know. Like, are they going to give him a full workload again? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you've got Zeke going against Jacksonville. They, for some reason, keep giving Zeke the ball, even though Pollard's so much more effective and efficient. But man, just looking at this, and then Garrett Wilson against Detroit, that could end up being somewhat of a shootout. So in any game Detroit's in can end up in a shootout. So um, I like your matchups overall much better, Bryson, than I do Josh's.
Don't
But
tell me that.
but at the same time, Hurts, I think Hurts is the best player between these two
Yes.
teams.
Absolutely.
So let me hear what you guys have to say, and then I'll reveal my pick.
You want me to go first or you, Jerry?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's just actually got a couple decisions that I've got to make here. I mean, I am pretty confident that the snow game is scaring me, and Tua's performances the last couple of weeks. I think I'm gonna ride the Dak bus, and I really don't like having my hopes for the postseason riding on the Cowboys and Dak. But I think that's a route I got to go against that Jacksonville matchup. Same thing with my receivers. I've got a good crop, but like between Metcalf, Wilson, and Waddle, I honestly didn't know what route to go. Waddle has looked a little banged up, and with Tua being inconsistent in the snow game for now, I'm fading away from him, but I could definitely roster bait a little, well, not roster bait, I guess tinker a little bit, and mess around with Wilson. Metcalf right now, I'm getting a little upset that I started him, but who knows how that works out. Dobbins, totally with you. I hope he stays healthy. He looked great coming off. He did pull up a little bit, maybe he looked a little slow, but they gave him the ball. The biggest thing for me is they need to win. So I'm hoping they ride him against Cleveland's suspect run defense. The other piece is I've got Dulcich in there at tight end, but he's probably going to get dropped because Goddard comes back from the return pup list or whatever, IR. Apparently he was ready to go this week, it sounds like, but he had the mandatory time he had to stay out due to the IR. So if he's healthy, he's pretty much a plug and play TE1, and that could be the factor for me. So I don't hate my matchups. I think it's going to be really close. You've got Jalen Hurts, Josh. You've got the better running backs with Mixon and Chubb. Man, I'm going to anti-reverse jinx myself and say I somehow pull it off and win by like a point or two.
I'm definitely scared of your team. I would rather play CB of all the teams in the playoffs than Bryson. I think I've been on every one of these podcasts, and every week I haven't liked your running backs. I haven't like you've been carried by Tua and Diggs. But now you got Elliott, who they're using at the goal line, and they're kind of using Pollard between the 20s. So there's points there. You got Dobbins, who just came back and looked great. Even if he splits the workload, he's way faster and way stronger than Edwards. So I think he'll still get the bulk of the carries. And then you got Garrett Wilson against Detroit, who their run defense has played a lot better, but their pass defense really hasn't. It's definitely going to be a showdown. I've debated who's going to win every day. If you put Goddard in and he plays, that's going to take away points from Hurts. So that could also hamstring me a little bit. I like Chubb. He hasn't been playing very well. Baltimore actually has the second best rush defense, so I'm kind of scared about that. Mixon has been losing a little bit of time to Pirine. I think both of those guys are still a good 1-2 punch because the Bengals have been rolling, but Mixon's been losing carries to Pirine because he carried the load while he was out. I have a choice to make with DJ Moore, just kind of like you have a choice to make between Waddle and Wilson, and so both of us are probably gonna struggle this weekend thinking, did we make the right pick?
Metcalf just got one more point that could flip it.
That could flip it. There you go. Cooper's coming off a hip injury, and they say they're gonna. I don't know. He hasn't done well with Watson. I thought Watson would really help them, but he is playing at home, and he tends to play a lot better at home. So I think this is kind of going to be like last week's matchup with Shmi. Jalen had a great game and had more points than Allen. and he probably will, but the rest of my guys aren't gonna get enough to get me across, and I'm gonna go Bryson in a close one. I just think his team has picked it up a lot the last couple weeks, and although my quarterback has been carrying me, he's been doing really well these last few weeks. The other 8 guys have not been doing much. Like last week, I had Hurts and my defense, and everyone else was single digits, and like DJ Moore had a 0. I'm not loving my matchups and the way my team is playing. So I know
Cool.
Bryson only
Nice
got like
reverse
60
jinx,
points
man.
last week, but I just think his matchups and his receivers, I feel like he sneaks it out. And we're supposed to be making cookies on Sunday, but I'm gonna be watching, the Cowboys game, and he's got both Dak and Zeke. So
I was
uh,
just looking. I mean, one, you're going to be a huge Pollard fan, although he sometimes
yeah.
catches touchdowns. We only have one Monday matchup, and it's my defense. So it could
Oh,
come
I
down.
didn't see
Well,
that.
honestly, your defense is your last game. I think both of the
Yeah.
last games will be your defense on Sunday night, my defense on Monday night. That'll be
Yeah.
pain. Like having both of our defenses being the last to go is going to be painful.
I think so. I'll go ahead
Feels-
and reveal my pick. I'm going to pick Bryson, and I don't think I think you're going to end up sitting your defense in hopes that they don't give up negative points.
Oof.
Wow.
I do like that they're on a Monday and that's an option, but man, yeah.
I
By the
just
way, just to note, Shmi got a 50-yard field goal, so that helps him in his matchup. And
oh
man,
wow,
sitting my defense
yeah.
on Monday, I will be very happy if I have that option. I don't
I
foresee that.
I just don't see Chubb and Mixon having big games, and so it's going to come down to Hurts. Hurts needs to put up 50 points, I think, um, for Jerry to have a shot here, and
30 of those to go to Goddard.
yeah, exactly. So you've kind of got to cancel out if you start Goddard, and so I just don't see it. So I'm picking Bryson, and I think you'll be sitting your defense on Monday
So
night.
I'll be sure to score 60 points this week. Can't wait.
Yeah, I still have a choice to make with DJ, and all that. But so the overall numbers, Baltimore's defense is like second best against the run. But last time Chubb played them, he went off for 100 and a touchdown. So I'm hoping he can duplicate that. Um, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm nervous. If I was playing CB, I wouldn't be as nervous. Except last time Burrow went off for like 50 against me. So
I will say, I mean, I feel strangely okay going into this matchup, which means I'll fuck it up. But given that I had one of the worst teams ever to make the playoffs, they're getting healthy, so
yeah,
maybe I can pull it off
Yep.
you had the bad week when you needed to.
when I could have. Well, I could only afford it because Nels didn't help out Jack. Or wait, well, yeah. Nels played me, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and
If
he
Nels
just
had
had he
any,
was more terrible than I was.
this thing is so funny. It didn't matter what quarterback he played. Jack was out anyway.
2 points versus 0.
Anyway,
You didn't start Carr, and then Kyler goes injured. Man,
Nelson knew what he was doing.
he did.
all right. Do we?
CT, just any thoughts? I mean, I know you're in the buy spot. Who do you want to play, and who don't you want to play coming out of this week? I
Um,
know that's a bit of jinxing yourself, but just curious.
well, so we have reseeding. So
Yep,
I anticipate, I picked Shmi to win, so I'm anticipating I'm going to
Yeah.
you'll
play
face
Shmi next
him.
week. Um, so and I think we've had a couple of playoff matchups, so we'll see. But I think it's going to come down to I end up with Shmi, and then the winner of y'all's matchup gets to play West next week. So
I think
um,
Wes will be a huge CB fan this week. No fan. I
Yeah.
mean, my team was bad in the regular season, but I think that's the weakest team out of the three for sure.
I will say though, we can go look at matchups, although I don't know that it shows the matchups on here. But
Oh, who's that waiver claim, CT?
yeah, we're not gonna.
Oh yeah,
We're
let's
not
see
gonna.
that.
We're not gonna look
What's
at
the
that.
defense you're picking up for next week?
I already have 3 defenses. Thank you very much. So
Yeah, that was a good pickup, Bryson. Couldn't believe you're about to go into the playoffs and play the Las Vegas defense. I was like,
Hey, I
he's way
switched my
smarter than
kickers
that. I'm
too.
not going to help him out, but He's
Yeah.
better than that.
So he's got Singletary's got a good matchup, but like Burrow's got New England. CB does have tough matchups next week.
Yeah, he definitely wants to
So,
play CB.
yeah, he'll be rooting for CB. And then if CB does win, I'll get the winner of y'all's matchup.
Yeah.
So let's go
I
look at
think-
y'all's.
That means Hertz is at Dallas.
Hertz is at Dallas. Okay,
Not
so
good.
that's not good. You
Nope.
otherwise though have
You have Chubb against New Orleans.
you got DJ Moore against Detroit, Jerry.
Yeah.
So
There
He's
you
doing
go.
shit this year, man. I don't even know whether to play him or not.
Yeah, and then look at Bryson's team. Week 16. Dak's got Philly.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
which
that
is
either.
not- I'd probably go 2 over Green Bay over Dak that week if I get there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a preference. I just want my guys to stay healthy this week, and
Yep.
if they stay healthy, then I've got decent matchups next week. So I'll be just trust the system.
I mean, I think this is the first year in a while I can remember where we had the two bye week teams were both this strong. I think there was one year you and Shmi were both really strong maybe it was last year or the year before, but I mean, I'm not looking forward to facing Wes nor you if I win. So tough matchups.
I just think this is let me go to standings real quick here. Like it is amazing how much like we both outscored the third highest scoring team, which was Taylor.
That's why both of you guys had such high power indexes this year. Was you guys separated from the competition so much?
Man,
But it's going to be hard, man, for you to overtake him for the GOAT single season because he's got almost as many points and a better win percentage. So you got to finish ahead of him in the final standings to probably pull ahead of him for the year.
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. It'll be good luck to you guys this week. I know y'all are playing each
Yeah.
other, so man,
Thanks.
Are we going over consolation matchup?
I think we can
Oh,
just
wait.
talk about them. I don't know if we want to go the matchups or not. I mean, we can
No.
click on them really quick.
Either make the playoffs or you don't.
yeah,
Okay.
we're not.
Look
we're
at Mod. With he's got a
21
first
points
round
versus that.
bye and 21 points. He's just coming for that number 7 spot.
Man, Kittle is killing it this game.
Is he gonna drop next year, you think? And we gotta pick up Murph?
Man, I hope not. Hopefully he can look at Wes as inspiration. The problem is, Maud, don't take this the wrong way, but Wes, I think, took the initiative to actually take it seriously, and I just don't see Maud ever taking it as seriously as I think Wes took it to this level this year, but maybe he will. I think he put some effort into the draft, but then, I mean, go to the total standings. Let me see how many waiver moves Maud made this year. He
7.
made 9
No,
or 7. I'm just
Taylor
saying.
only made 9.
Taylor
and
only
had
made
the third
9.
most
Taylor was
points.
in France all year sipping on wine or wherever he's been. But I'm just saying, Maud, you got to make a little bit more movement during the year, and I think you can do it. We don't want to lose you. We know we call you the WOT, but it's all in jest. We want you in the league not just because you're easy money, but because we enjoy having you.
I'm proud of
This is the
Shmi
only
having
league
54 moves.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
This is the only league. What, Jerry?
I don't care about the money at all. I forget we
No.
even play for money. Jack hasn't
This
asked
is
for an
by
entry
far
fee.
the
I
least
haven't.
amount of money that I put
Yeah.
into a league, and the one I spend the most time
Yes.
pulling data and podcasts for. It's not
Yep.
about the money.
No, it's so crazy. It's not about it at all.
And here's the deal, Mod. If you quit playing, I'm taking you off the pods. The Nespresso pods are no more, Mod, if you don't play in our league.
How about if he doesn't start taking it seriously, you take him off the pods?
He can take it not seriously if he wants. I'm just saying your wife's not going to be happy when pods stop showing up to her dentistry office. So happy wife, happy life. Stay in the league.
They already show up at my house. So
What's the
Do you
story
still
behind
order
that?
them on there? I always forget to even check it.
No, I haven't. Mine espresso broke, and it was
Yeah,
going to
okay.
cost. I had to get a new machine, and I was like, "Ah, screw this!" So I just got to drip.
Well, if
drop
you
and
need a
make
new
it.
machine, I get discounts on the machines too. So
Yeah,
just
all
let me
right,
know.
all right, we'll do.
I was looking at some older matchups, like way back when. Remember when we used to do divisions?
Yes, it
Yeah,
was awful. It was awful.
I
Oh,
played
and
in.
also Nels spelled his team Seattle Scrates with a G back in 2009. So I wasn't the only one who typed that. Nels called his team
Good,
name
great.
that.
But was he calling it that to make fun of you?
There's no way.
I mean, some of the team names are hilarious. I'm trying to see if I can quickly pull them up, like from the oldest ones. Like, yeah, Seattle great here. I'm gonna project really quick just so we can go down memory lane while we're sitting here. If you guys have the time. So you
Yeah,
got
you don't know
Seattle
anything.
Greats, Pittsburgh Feelers, the Dirty Sanchez, Seatown OGs. Jack's had the same name forever. Craig, what game is this referencing? It's got to be a
I'm
Green
a
Bay game. 17 and it's got to be Green Bay versus
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Real original CT.
Hey, that team won the championship, so you can
I had
suck it.
forgotten about Brett Favre's favorite tight end on the Vikings, Shianko.
Yeah, that was a
Suck
great
my
name.
Cotchery. The TO show. Man, I forgot TO and Kragers were in the league. Jerry World. Donkey JR was in the league. I think he was in the league for 1 year and
He
then
got
won it,
second,
didn't
I
he?
think.
Or
No,
yeah, he got first or second. Let me see.
he
Yeah,
got second.
you beat him, but he was up there because he has like 1 year of data and a really high PI. But yeah, some of these names are quite funny. I'm trying to think if there's any other good ones. Most of them stayed similar. Oh, because this is each week. We got McClusterfucks, TDs and beers, King Leonidas, carry my pads, bitch.
Is cowboy.
Sucking Daddy's D, suck my C Johnson, Isha Cowboy. Yeah. Man, we need to
Cowboy.
bring back some of these names. Citron
There's
my
Paradox.
face, Paradox. There it is. The
Wait,
Clusterfucks.
why did he call his team Paradox? I don't get.
Really?
Yeah,
Club Paradox was that was that the Murph's first wedding? So I think it
I
was
didn't go to
Murph's
that.
first wedding in Tulsa. It was at a country club, and like by where we stayed, there was a little club that was called Paradox that we went to, and it had like a balcony. Maud got on stage, like danced to music. It got really a little seedy late at night, and he was just dancing up there to like hip hop on the stage. The only white guy showing off his moves. It was an interesting night, but I assume it was named for Club Paradox. And then I see I named my team after what would come my kid's favorite word. Hoop.
And calm day in hell.
Bromosexuals. Wow, really PC, Wes. Yeah, some of these names are funny to go back. My Vic is itchy. Gosh, I forgot that Mike Vick. Like some of the we are old when we're talking about Brett Favre, Mike Vick, like played in our freaking league. It's pretty incredible. Been
Yeah, I looked
around
at
for a while.
Nelson's third place team, and he had like Kurt Warner, T.O., Chris Johnson for when he had 2,000 yards, rushing yards. It's crazy to look back on
I feel like,
those teams.
that's a thing for the podcast next year is like look at PI and like pick a team, like a historically good team, and just like open up their roster at the end of the year. I think we did that a little bit with Paradox, looking at like Arian Foster and like some of those names are just fascinating to go back in time and look at.
Yeah.
But there's your
It is
nostalgia for the
funny.
day.
That's what I did on Wednesday a little bit was I looked at Nelson's teams way back when and it's like, dang. All right, this was fun, gentlemen.
It's a
Yep,
nice
this
little
was
regular
fun.
season recap and on to the playoffs.
Okay.
Good luck, Jerry.
Top
Good luck,
PI.
Bryson.
Yeah,
May the best man win.
we'll do.
All right.
Hey, have fun putting Annika to sleep. Hope you use Wes's.
He
I
already
did that
gave her the
last.
melatonin.
I did that yesterday.
By Amy's standards, I was going through all the gifts. She was like, "That one's funny," and I don't really even get it, but I find it funny. I think just because she always hears us like playing video games and stuff, she's like, "You guys are so dumb." Like,
Yeah, Annika's like, "Did you like it?" I was like, "It was very funny. It wasn't for me, but it was very funny."
yes.
And she was like, "I don't get it." I was like, "It's an inside joke." So,
All right. See you boys
Yeah.
later.
See you
bye.
guys.
See ya.